Hello everyone, and once again welcome to Deckadance for Beginners. And right now we're going to start looking at some of the features found within the track window. And I'm just going to load up this sample here into my track window. And again, here's our play control. We can press play and play that back. I'm going to turn this down a little bit so I can talk over this. And one thing you want to be aware of is your tempo. Now right here I know this is a 130 beat per minute sample. And also I have tempo information up here. So it's important to know your tempo information. One thing I want to show you though is that here I have, this is actually a folder I have, and these are really short loops that I have. And I don't really know the tempo of these songs here, okay, these loop samples anyway. And I just want to mention, because it is so important to know the tempo information, what you can do here is you can click on a track and you can use this button to analyze the track, and then you can get tempo information. All right, and then if you wanted to, and I'm going to maybe move this right up here, if you wanted to, you can adjust this tempo if it doesn't come out exactly right by going into right here, track, and right here, okay, we can modify this to 120, which is probably what the actual tempo is. You might want to just set that to an exact tempo of 120. And then click OK, and then there you have a tempo. And as I mentioned before though, it is a good idea to kind of do this beforehand. You don't want to do something like this if you're right in the middle of a DJ set. So here I have ARP1. I know that's 120 as a tempo right here. So what I can do is actually go, and after I analyze it, it might be a good idea to just rename it within here. In the folder that it's contained in, I can go and say ARP01 120. But I just wanted to, and I know I got a little sidetracked there, but I want to get that out of the way. It's real important that you know the beats per minute for your music. So that'd be the process you would go through. I'm just going to remove this from the playlist. And so we have our beat per minute information here. When I press play, this is playing back at 120 beats per minute. We can see right here it says 120 beats per minute. Reason for that is because we are in slave mode right here. Now if I wanted this to play back at the actual tempo of 130, I can click in here and I can just type in 130 and hit enter. Now when I press play, it's playing back at 130. Now I am actually using the demo version, so we got that moment of silence there, and that is the only limitation of the demo version. So it's not really going to get in your way of learning how to use Deckadance at all. So I'm using the demo version. But anyway, right here we have our tempo reset, and there's a shortcut for play. It's Q. And that's how you would go about setting up your tempo. And being in slave mode, it really depends on your preferences and what you want to do. But I do prefer to be in slave mode, because what this does, it'll sync both tracks are set to slave mode. It'll set up both tracks to have the same tempo, which is really nice. But you can disable slave mode, and then this gives you the ability to adjust to whatever tempo you want. So from here we can use a tempo slider. Could be useful for an effect. And also I can right click here to set the tempo slider right back to the center. And actually this is a pitch slider, but it does affect the tempo as well. But we have this option here to lock the pitch, okay? So now we can adjust the tempo without affecting the pitch. And listen for the difference here. I'm going to unlock this, and now when I drag this, we're going to hear a pitch shift. See how that works? Again, depends on what you want to do. Lock this. I adjust my tempo. We're not going to hear a pitch change, but we're going to hear a change in the tempo. All right, unlock it. And again, quickly to reset this, you would right click there and you will set that back to normal. So that's pretty much the basics of getting your tempo set up. And in the next tutorial, we're going to take a look at cue points and how to set up the cue points.